question, mate. How's the mood in the camp?
Yeah, I think like from the weekend's game, obviously it's pretty flattening to lose, and obviously we are 0-6 at this point. But there's certainly positive signs I think that we've taken away, and we've just finished our review of the game, and we had a lot of opportunities. It felt like early. Looking at the stats from the first quarter, it was actually quite even. We just weren't able to capitalise. I think we might have kicked 5 behinds to their 3 goals to, or whatever it was, which is pretty frustrating. But the fact that we're putting ourselves in that position to be able to, kick goals is promising. So, yeah, we're certainly doing a lot of work this week on goal kicking, and even just our delivery inside 50 is going to be really important this weekend against Collingwood.
I know you guys will say you're staying upbeat and you are building to a brighter future, but when you lose week on week, it really does take its toll. It really starts to seep in. So what do you do? What do you do as a playing group? What does Fague say to keep people, with a positive frame of mind that you can get a win?
Yeah, it certainly does. I mean, you only have to look back to last year. Teams like the Swans and even Hawthorn, I think, were 1-5 after 6 rounds. So, and they ended up having really successful seasons. So, yeah, it's frustrating, obviously, to not be getting the results that we want, but we understand that it's a process, and that to continue to develop each week's going, they're going to hold us in good stead for the long term. So, I mean, Fags does a really good job of keeping the boys upbeat, and we've got a lot of characters in the camp like Zorks and even Ryan Lester that keep the boys up and going. So, yeah, the boys are pretty hungry to get out on the track and improve for next week.
It was your first game on the weekend this season where you didn't have Hodgie in the back line with you. What did you notice? Did you notice anything had changed, without him compared to when he's there?
Yeah, I think obviously the first game without him was a little bit different out there. We certainly as a group had to take on a bit more load in regards to communication and that, which I thought we did a good job in. And yeah, it'll be good to have him back this week. I assume he's probably coming back in. So yeah, it'll be good to have him back, and yeah, looking forward to it.
You've mentioned Zorks before, and obviously he wouldn't have had the start of the season he'd like. He's getting a close tag every single week. How's he dealing with that? And as a team, what kind of plans do you put in place to try and get him off the leash a bit? Because he really is a barometer for you guys. When he plays well, you guys tend to play well.
Yeah, we understand that Zorks, obviously, he's copping a bit of a hard time from taggers, and we've certainly last couple of weeks tried to put in a bit of effort to help him, just around stoppages and even with some of his positioning and stuff, just trying to get him off the chain, because as you said, he is such a barometer, and he's such a match winner for us, and there was games last year where he was able to just break open the game and get it on our terms. So yeah, we're doing a lot of work in that space to try and get him back up and going to where he is, and he's certainly working hard to make sure that he's improving day by day.
You mentioned goal kicking before. There's a big conversation at the moment around the skill level in AFL and the standard of which it's at, and a lot of numbers coming out about goal kicking being the worst since '96, and kicking efficiency, that was the worst round since whenever. Do you guys notice a drop in standard? Do you feel that the standard of football and the skill level involved is dropping?
Nah, I think it's too hard to compare from season to season. Like, I couldn't tell you what the goal kicking percentage was from last year. So I think for us personally, it's just being able to capitalise and kick goals. Like, I'm a defender. I don't really get that many chances to kick goals, but it's a real team lifter when you can put early scoreboard pressure on.
Do you get to do enough work on it? I mean, with all the sports sciences and recovery this day and that day, do you think get to spend enough time on the actual basic skills of the game?
Yeah, certainly do. I mean, you spend all summer working on your skills, and then when the season comes around, there is obviously a bit more of a focus on recovery. But like, we'll go out on the track today for a good session and work on our skills session, as it's a development session, and then Thursday we get out on the track and have our main training session. But there's also, away from that, we have a thing obviously called like touch and the touch shop, which boys go up into the cricket nets and work on their skills and that. So yeah, I don't think there's a lack of time or care there. It's probably just the execution out on the ground. It's not that the work isn't being done during the week.
So is there anything you can think of that would be pushing those numbers down, goal kicking and kicking efficiency across the competition?
I probably wouldn't have done enough research or understanding of the game to know why that is across the competition.
I guess one theory is more congestion. Players, whether it's because of players' fitness or coaching instructions or whatever, there's a lot more congestion, meaning you haven't got as much time and space. Is that something you think could contribute?
Well, the game certainly, like the athletes in the game are improving every year. I feel that guys are getting bigger, faster, stronger, which is obviously going to create a greater congestion in the game and would put pressure on skills. But yeah, I'm not 100% sure, unfortunately.
You talk about that you're faster, stronger, and creating the congestion. congestion. And that's sort of the argument, is that we're getting more and more congested, and there's people talking about ways to fix that, and some of the suggestions of 16 players on the field instead of 18, and zones and that sort of stuff. Would you like to see those things?
No, I'm pretty happy with the way the game's going at the moment. I think, like for me personally playing the game, I'm really enjoying it, and I'm not on the rules committee or that game committee or whatever. So, I mean, I'm happy going out there every week, and it seems to be a pretty competitive league at the moment. I mean, I know we're 0-6, but we've done a pretty good job of competing against all the teams that we've played against. So, I'm really enjoying it.
Do you watch other games?
Yeah. Yep.
Do you like the way the game is played now?
Yeah, I do. I like it. I mean, I've always watched footy, so watching teams compete really hard against each other, and it seems that a lot of the blowout victories that have happened in previous years have gone away now. So, it's a good league to watch.
Do you think, there was a lot of talk on the footy shows last night and on the footy shows over the weekend and the radio that the game isn't as attractive as it used to be, and you say you like it. Do you think maybe sometimes people just overreact because they see one bad game and they think the competition's stuff? Yeah,
a little bit of that, I think. I don't know what the stats are in regards to less amount of goals per game, but people probably overreact a little bit, and the games obviously goes in blocks. Like, we talk about trends of the game, and they only last for 4 to 6 weeks. So in 4 to 6 weeks we could be talking about the most attractive game of all time. So we'll see what happens.
As a defender, you'd probably just say blokes like you were just getting better at your craft, I imagine.
That's it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You got the Pies this weekend. They're sitting 10th on the ladder, but there's a lot of praise for how they're going this year. Obviously, Hardwick said on the weekend, despite beating them, he thought that was the toughest competition they've had all season. That's a pretty daunting task when you guys are 0-6 and you come up against a team with that sort of reputation. Yeah,
Collingwood's done a really good job last few weeks, certainly in the Anzac Day game, and then they beat Adelaide in Adelaide the week before. So they've had a big couple of weeks. We're really looking forward to the opportunity of them coming up here. Hopefully get a big crowd in. I think there's 3 kids going to the game on Sunday, which is exciting. So it's a really good opportunity for us to bring the heat and hopefully get a result.
They've always been a pretty high possession sort of team. Why do you think, I don't know how much you've seen of them this year, but why do you think they've seemingly taken a bit of a step forward this season so far?
I think it's just their pressure around the ball. They seem to be doing a really good job, and their team defence as well. Like, they're a very high handball team, and as you said, get a lot of possessions. But their ability to be able to press the ground and put pressure on opposition teams to make mistakes and win the ball back is really good. So it's something that we're going to have to work on this week. And as I said, that skill execution going inside 50 is really important, because a lot of their rebound footy starts in the back 50. So.
You did talk about the blocks, and I think you're 100% right, because Collingwood, in the first few rounds of the year and in the pre-season, it was disaster, and no way they'd make finals, and they didn't have a good enough list, and now they're being told, we're hearing that they're one of the best teams getting around. So does that give you guys, I suppose, a bit of hope and a bit more faith that, as you say, it is cyclical, you can turn your season around quite quickly? It just starts with that one game and that one win, and you feel like you're building towards that. So does it give you a bit more hope in that regard?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, as I said before, like the Hawks 1-5 last year. I know we're probably saying it because we got Fags and Hodgie there, but like 1-5, they were struggling early, but turned out to have a really successful season. And we're just looking forward to getting out there on the weekend and having a crack, and I guess hopefully getting off the mark, which would be good.
So what's the one thing that you'd like to see different this weekend? And if that clicks, you think we'd be most happy if we can just get that thing there right?
I think it's just our intensity from contest to contest. Our ability to put pressure on teams and not allow them an easy outlet from the contest is really important. So that's something certainly to look out for.
Do you know who's going to Mason Cox?
We haven't quite organised yet what the matchups are going to be. He's been playing some good footy, obviously, with his contested marking and follow up at ground level. So we'll do our due diligence around our opposition, and looking forward to it.
He presents I wouldn't say unique, because there are some other tall guys running around, but a very difficult matchup for anyone because of his size, but also sort of he's very hard to move. Does it need to be a sort of ganging up on him 2 or 3 to sort of bring him down?
Yeah, we'll back in our systems. We play a team defence, which has worked, I guess, for the first couple of rounds. We've done a good job as a back 6 to be able to deny opposition efficiency inside 50. We'll just continue to do what we do and back it in.
A lot of talk about your positional play in the last few weeks, Harris. Like the first couple of rounds, I guess because you're the last link in the chain, you know, there was goals over the back a few times, whereas that hasn't happened in the last couple of weeks. Like have you had to change your position? Have you structured differently as a defensive six? Or
No, I don't think we've changed anything too much. There's probably more for me just being able to recognise when that ball is transitioning. I'm still playing the same positioning. I'm just probably a little bit quicker now to react to where the football is. I probably missed the mark a couple of times in that game against Melbourne, I think you might be talking about, where the ball's transitioning down the field and I'll probably let that leg rope get too big. So, yeah, I've really enjoyed the last couple of weeks. We've got a little bit more pressure in our midfield on the ball, which has been really helpful, and we've done a good job of winning the ball back. So, yeah, it's going well.
Blackie, Simon Black speaks on Triple M each week when it comes to you guys that his number one thing that he wants to happen is goals from turnover. Is that on a board somewhere for you guys? Is it something that you're quite aware of, that the goals from turnover, you know, is it one that hurts you guys, and what are you putting in place around that? Yeah,
it's such an important part of the game. Teams are so good now at structuring up when they've got time to set up the defence, and yeah, for us, it's really important that we take care with our ball movement and I guess set the ground up so we can defend, and that's through different modes of ball movement, obviously. But yeah, the way that we moved the ball in the first couple of weeks probably hurt us a little bit when we did turn the ball over, but the last couple of weeks it feels like we've been able to help in regard to that. We've been able to defend a bit easier, but also transition the ball easier as well.
Harris, just on you personally, mate, obviously you've taken on more responsibility with leadership this year as you grow as a player. It's often easy to be a leader when you're or a manager in business sport when you're in a successful organisation, you're winning, that sort of thing. Yep. How are you finding the challenge taking more responsibility as a leader when it is a difficult season and you're not winning games?
Yeah, I'm still really enjoying it, obviously. It's a huge privilege to be in that leadership group with the guys that are in there. Yeah, things aren't going the way we want it exactly to go, but I guess as a leader it's a non-negotiable to bring that intensity and I guess that work ethic and set an example for the younger guys in the group, and that's something that I hopefully pride myself on.
Just the last one for me, because I love a good nickname. And a couple of years ago, Dan Merritt said that your nickname was the Chief.
Yep.
And I was really enjoying that. But I have heard that you've got a new nickname, and it's Dad.
Dad, yeah.
Can you explain that one to me?
Yeah, so Hugh McCluggage and Jared Berry, when they got drafted up here, moved in with me. And they started taking the mickey out of me a little bit and calling me Dad because they thought I'd try and get them to do stuff around the house, which, you know, is a little bit of a laugh. And as soon as the boys in the group catch on to something like that, they run with it. So, yeah, it's not too bad. It's started to find its way out, but it's probably going to pick up now that you've said it. So that's fine.
Yeah.
You still call me luggage bags?
Yeah, no, he's all right. Just Huey works. He's all right.